Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Today, we're jumping straight into some sources that really make you stop and think.
Yeah.
They fundamentally question our ideas about what's normal and what gets labeled crazy.
Mm-hmm. And we're not talking clinical definitions here, are we? It's more about the societal labels, the assumptions people make.
Exactly. We've got these articles, some notes, exploring why someone might choose a life that looks, disconnected, simpler,
Mm.
outside the usual hustle. Some sources even call it the white room.
And our goal, really, our mission for this dive is to unpack what these sources are saying. We want to understand why someone might opt out.
Right. Is it really instability? Or could it be something else entirely?
Yeah, could it be a path to, authenticity? Or finding some peace? Maybe even a different kind of sanity in a world that feels, well, pretty intense sometimes.
Okay, so let's dive in. One of the first big things these sources throw at us is this idea of normal, the paradox of it.
Oh, yeah. They describe typical daily life, don't they? The Monday meetings we all dread.
Ugh, yes. The constant need to circle back on things.
And these intense debates people have over, what was it, almond milk versus oat milk, that kind of stuff.
It sounds so familiar, that whole kind of exhausting grind.
And then they hit you with the contrast, the sheer peace you might find just, I don't know, talking to your dog.
It's such a simple image, but powerful.
And the core argument that bubbles up from these sources is, well, it's pretty provocative. It's the idea that maybe normal society itself is the unhealthy thing.
How so?
Well, think about it. Chronically sleep deprived, constantly staring at screens, maybe over-medicated, and definitely underconnected in real meaningful ways.
So it flips the whole script.
Exactly. And then if you deviate from that norm...
You get pathologized,
Yeah.
labeled,
Right.
right away.
Yeah. If you prefer animals, or need solitude, or embrace simplicity...
Like the examples they give the log cabin fantasy, wearing the same hoodie because it's comfy, choosing a hammock over, I don't know, climbing the corporate ladder.
Or letting go of friendships that feel more like transactions than real connections.
Then boom, the label is crazy. Just like that.
It really forces you to ask, and the sources push this, is the person opting out broken? Or are they maybe just having a perfectly reasonable, sane reaction to an environment that's, well, maybe making everyone else a bit sick?
That's a heavy thought. The sources seem to lean towards that second idea, don't they?
They definitely do. They suggest the sane reaction might look insane from the inside of the machine.
Okay, so how does this shift actually happen? Because the sources suggest it's not always like a sudden breakdown.
No, not usually. The journeys described often start small, really small sometimes.
Like skipping happy hour?
Yeah, or finally turning off those constant phone notifications. That can feel huge.
Oh, tell me about it. Or learning to just say no to things.
Mm.
Choosing silence sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Or, yeah, picking the dog's company over another awkward date. It's described less as a collapse and more like a slow unraveling.
A fracture.
Sort of. Not necessarily dramatic, but this growing need for quiet, for solitude. A real intolerance for noise and, superficial stuff.
And this craving for truth, like real interactions instead of just going through the motions.
Exactly. Truth over transactions. That's a good way to put it.
And then comes the choice. It's not passive. It's deliberate.
Right. Moving away. Getting that dog they mentioned, Winston, Atlas companions who just are.
Quitting the soul-sucking job.
And maybe the biggest act of defiance mentioned. Just deciding to let people think whatever they want, let them think you've gone off the deep end.
Because maybe, as one source puts it, that deep end is where you can actually breathe.
Which leads us right into this central metaphor, the white room.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because society hears white room and thinks.
Yeah, white room crazy. Padded cell, mental instability, isolation in a bad way. All because someone chooses quiet or minimalism or just doesn't conform.
But these sources, they paint a totally different picture. Almost the opposite.
Completely. It's not a cell, it's a space for a reset. It's about clarity. Almost like a sterile field, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Necessary.
A place where you can finally breathe fully, feel whole, where life isn't a performance anymore.
Yes, where life feels more like a prayer. That's the language used.
Wow. And this connects to that R.D. Laing idea, right?
Absolutely. Insanity is a sane response to an insane world. If you look honestly at the state of things, the sources touch on environmental stress, constant surveillance, the breakdown of community.
Then maybe stepping back, withdrawing from all that collective chaos.
Maybe that is the sanest thing you could possibly do.
So the white room is clarity, not confinement. And you mentioned something else, envy.
Yeah, there's this undercurrent in the sources suggesting society doesn't just misunderstand people who opt out, it shames what it doesn't get, or maybe what it secretly wishes it had the guts to do itself.
And labeling people as broken for disconnecting. That
Yeah.
actually makes the whole societal fragmentation worse.
It feeds the problem it claims to be judging. And you
Yeah.
mentioned connection earlier. Animals play a huge role here.
Right. Finding more peace with a dog than with, quote, functional adults.
They're described almost as spirits of non-judgment, gatekeepers even, wise in their silence. Choosing their company becomes really significant.
While the human world labels you eccentric, unorthodox.
Off your rocker, hermit, broken, suspicious. Yeah, the list goes on.
It's quite the judgment.
It is. But the sources keep pushing back. Society shames what it envies or fears. And by calling disconnectors broken, society avoids looking at its own brokenness, its own lack of connection.
Which brings us to this idea they call the sanity paradox.
Yeah, this is fascinating. The idea that real calm, actual serenity is so alien
And
in our hyped up world.
that experiencing it feels unreal, like a break from reality itself.
Exactly. While the constant chaos, the drama, the notifications, that feels like normal existence.
So silence becomes suspicious.
Mm.
Stillness looks like
Mm.
emptiness, like you're not doing anything.
We're kind of conditioned to equate chaos with being alive, with purpose. It feeds the ego, maybe. So someone who steps out of that and finds genuine calm, well, they must be crazy, right?
But the sources argue the complete opposite.
Totally. They say the person who walks away from the noise chooses the cabin over the corner office, the dog over the debt, the simple life over the script.
They aren't fleeing reality, they're returning to it.
The white room, in this view, isn't madness. It's the necessary clarity needed to see things as they are without all the static.
There's a definite irony, like you need a bit of what the world calls crazy just to stay sane today.
It seems that way, and there's that one piece, the last ungoverned mind, that takes this idea into the future.
Oh, right, the year 2097. Minds are curated, everyone's linked up, optimized.
All for productivity and consensus, total connection, but maybe no real self left.
And then there's the lone figure, in a simple room, maybe with her dog, the last ungoverned mind.
And she chose disconnection, not even as a rebellion at first, but because a glitch showed her a moment of genuine, independent thought. Choice.
And the chilling takeaway from that piece
Is that humanity wasn't lost to some big catastrophe, but just slowly, subtly, to convenience, to consensus. Giving up discomfort, giving up individual thought for ease.
suggesting that maybe disconnection becomes the last stand for authentic humanity.
It's a powerful, maybe unsettling thought.
And it brings it right back to now. It underlines that questioning the norm isn't just some radical fringe idea anymore.
According to these sources, it's necessary, vital for well-being.
And when you start questioning, the whole perception shifts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The loud voices suddenly seem hollow, the hyper-connected feel lonely, the chase for validation looks pointless.
Which leads to the deepest layer in these sources, the white room of the soul.
Not a place, but an inner space.
Exactly. Built with stillness, not walls. And the sources suggest, quite poetically, that maybe you have to go mad first, shed the conventional self to find it.
It appears when things fall away. Labels, desires, the endless thought loops.
All that stuff that causes our daily anxiety. And maybe, they hint, the ones who've already lost their minds in society's eyes.
The ones who dared to dissolve.
Maybe they get there first, not because they were broken, but because they let go of what society screams you must hold on to.
And what do they find there? In that inner space?
A remembrance of your true self, not the job title, not the brand, not the algorithm.
But just a being, breathing, present, simple.
Yeah. And the animal companions fit here, too. Guides embodying that non-judgment, that wisdom and stillness.
The transformation described is huge. The madman becomes the prophet.
Those laughed at become the ones people seek out for guidance, for real peace.
But there's risk involved. The sources are clear about that.
Oh, definitely. Risk of being misunderstood, labeled, losing your place in the world.
But the reward
Is described as this deep inner peace, something the world can't give you, and crucially, something it can't take away.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive has really walked us through it, hasn't it? From picking apart normal,
To the personal choice to live differently.
challenging crazy, redefining the white room as clarity, not confinement.
Both outside and inside, that internal white room of the soul.
It really leaves you, the listener, with a lot to think about. These sources invite you to look inward.
Yeah, to question the norms you just accept every day, the assumptions you make, and maybe ask yourself, where is your space of stillness? Where could your white room be found?
Because, as these sources powerfully suggest, in a world that feels increasingly noisy, fragmented, maybe even a bit insane.
Perhaps that quiet path, the one that looks like opting out, maybe it's not just radical anymore. Maybe it's the most necessary path there is for real sanity.